Hello class, this is lesson 1-11, converting between percent, decimals, and fractions. This is the Learning Needed channel. My request to students, as in all videos, remember your reason to pass the GED test and use that to motivate you to get that passing score. Don't give up, and please like and subscribe to this video and my channel so I can continue to produce more GED content. I am planning to have content for all 4 videos in my channel. If you are interested in one-on-one tutoring where I work with you live to see where you need more reinforcement of material, more work, maybe you need to figure out a study plan, anything to give you personalized help, I do have that service available in my website, which is in the video description below. The suggested study material that I give to students is to use the Kaplan GED Test Prep Book. They release a new version every year. You don't have to get the latest year. They keep most of the material the same throughout, and it has material for all 4 subjects, so it is a good investment. And also, I highly encourage you to take some time to find a TI-30XS calculator to play with and figure out all the different functions on it specific for the GED test, whether you borrow it or purchase one on your own. But if you are interested in purchasing your own copy of the Kaplan book and the calculator, I do have links to purchase both of those in my video description below. That way you know you're getting the right copy. All right, let's get started. This will be a shorter lesson where we talk about percents. A percent represents a part out of a whole, just like decimals and fractions do. Specifically, percents represent a part out of 100. Percents can be expressed as a decimal and a fraction, and it is very common in the GED test when you are solving a problem that you will need to convert from one format to the other. So just as an example, if I have 25%, I can represent that as a decimal as 0.25 and as a fraction as 25 over 100, and I will show you how to do that here. Let's start with converting a percent to a decimal and a fraction. To convert a percent to a decimal, you will follow 2 steps. First, you will convert the percent sign to a decimal point. Now, there is a note that if the percent already has a decimal point, then you will not convert the percent sign to a decimal because it already has a decimal point. You will just simply remove the percent sign. Once you have removed the percent sign, you will then move the decimal point 2 places to the left. So using 25% as an example, I convert the percent sign into a decimal, so it looks like 25, then decimal point, and then I move that decimal point 2 spaces to the left. So what this looks like is if I start here to the right of the 5, I move 2 spaces to the left, and it becomes 0.25 as a decimal. Looking at 25.2%, this percent already has a decimal point. So I'm not going to convert the percent sign into another decimal point. All numbers should only have 1 decimal point. So in this case, I am going to just drop the percent sign and use the existing decimal point. And then I move on to step 2. Same as before, I will move this decimal point 2 places to the left, and it becomes 0.252 as a decimal. To convert a percent to a fraction, you will first set the number of the percent over a denominator of 100. So if I look again at 25%, I am going to put the numerical value of the percent over 100. So all that means is I am going to set the numerical value of 25 and put that over 100. So just like converting percent to decimal, you are ignoring the percent sign and then putting that over 100. As we mentioned, a percent is a value out of 100 specifically. For the GED math test, you will be expected to reduce to lowest terms. Most of the answer choices will be provided in lowest terms. Now let's work in the opposite direction. Let's convert a decimal and a fraction to a percent. To convert a decimal to a percent, you are going to do the opposite of what you do when you convert a percent to a decimal. You are going to move the decimal point 2 places to the right, and then you are going to convert that decimal point to a percent sign. So once again, looking at 0.25, I move the decimal point that is to the left of 2 places to the right, and the decimal point now is after 5, so it is 25 decimal point, and then I just simply convert that decimal point into a percent sign. To convert a fraction to a percent, you will follow these steps. You will divide the numerator by a denominator. Fractions are really division problems, just written in a format that we can use for all kinds of math. And we are going to use that fact to actually divide the numerator by the denominator. When you get that number, it will be a decimal point, and then you will multiply that by 100, and once again you will add a percent sign at the end. So if I look again at 25 over 100, that becomes a division problem of 25 divided by 100. If you enter that into a calculator or calculate it by hand, that becomes a decimal point of 0.25. Then I multiply 0.25 times 100. That gives me a whole answer of 25, and then I just add the decimal point to the end of that number. So it is 25%. So those are all the steps you need to convert between percents, decimals, and fractions. So let's just work some quick example problems of each type. Let's first convert the following two numbers that are decimals into percents. So here we start with 0.45. To convert it into a percent, I am going to multiply that value by 100, and that becomes 45, and then I add the percent sign at the end, so it becomes 45%. For 0.09, same thing, I multiply by 100, and that becomes a whole answer number of 9, and then I add the percent. To convert the following fractions to percents, we remember that fractions are really just division problems, so we divide the numerator by the denominator. So 3 over 5 becomes 3 divided by 5, and if you solve that, it gives us a decimal point of 0.6. Then you move the decimal point 2 places to the right and convert it to a percent sign, so it becomes 60%. Same with 7 over 8. It becomes 7 divided by 8, and when you solve that in the calculator, you get 0.875. You move the decimal point 2 places to the right, and then you add the percent sign, and it becomes 87.5%. To convert the following percents to decimals, you convert the percent sign into a decimal point unless it already has a decimal point. For 88%, there is no existing decimal point, so you convert that percent sign into a decimal point, and then you move it 2 spaces to the left, and it becomes 0.88. For 12.5%, we note that it already has a decimal point, so in this case, all we're going to do is drop the percent sign and use the existing decimal point, and then move that decimal point 2 places to the left, and it becomes 0.125. For the last one, you convert the following percents to fractions. So you take 88%, you drop the percent sign, and take the numerical value of the percent, which is 88, and set that over a denominator of 100, and then you reduce to lowest terms. In this case, it is 22 over 25. Same with 12.5%. You set the numerical value of 12.5 over a denominator of 100, and when you reduce that to lowest terms, it becomes 1 over 8. And that was today's lesson. This was a shorter one. It is an introduction to percents and how to convert between percents, decimals, and fractions. Practice this a few times and it will become second nature. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.